Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Sahar, and today we're joined by an American space pioneer, Mr. Edward Gibson, a physicist, engineer, pilot, and a retired NASA astronaut. Mr. Gibson served as a science pilot of Skylab 4, where he and his crew spent a record-setting 84 days in space. During that historic mission, they carried out dozens of groundbreaking experiments and made remarkable observations of both the Earth and the Sun. But Mr. Gibson's story isn't just about the science, it's also about perseverance. His journey unfolded during a time of political uncertainty and shifting priorities, and the challenges he faced in space and on the ground helped him shape his powerful perspective on the future of exploration. In his latest book, Space Ever Further, Ever Faster Now, he reflects on those experiences and on the roadblocks of his time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be with you today.
So let's start with the first question, Mr. Edward. What made you want you to write this book?
Well, it turns out that so many things in life, it's not a single point in time. It really happens over a period of time, a good part of a lifetime. So it's all progressed just normally. As I've gotten older and more interested, and I've just been happy enough that the opportunities have come along, and I've just been pleased to follow up on every one of them.
Okay.
And writing the book has been a real opportunity, but like everything else, my opportunity in space, ever farther, ever faster. I started out very slowly, and very slowly, as a matter of fact. I had to take first grade and fourth grade over again, so. I then have had to increase my capabilities, and fortunately, the world was there to allow me to do that. But I've always been interested in science and what is around the world around us, whether it's just over the next road or whether it's over the next solar system. It was not a singular decision; it was a way of life.
Okay. So this book doesn't reflect one chapter of your life. It reflects a lot of chapters, right?
Yes. Space is obviously something that grows and gets bigger in your world around you as you study it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to study it and gradually work my way into it. And I started out by writing smaller things. I did my thesis on ionization in space. I was interested in world around us. As I said, ever since I was a little kid, drawing pictures of our solar system on brown paper bags, and then I started studying it much more deeply. And so that was just been a gradual progression for me. Ever farther, ever faster.
So how's your life in science or space shaped the book's idea? Like, what was the main idea? What was the main picture behind it? Just the solar pictures or solar drawings, or it was more than that?
Well, it's more of a way of life. I started out once I got out of graduate school, and I started doing research in the world of space, and I finally got a chance to fly in space myself for 84 days. And it might sound like a big step, but really, it's really just a number of small steps. We think of going into space as something big and monumental. It is in a sense, but most of the time it's just another step. Rather than being up and out an airplane and seeing half a city, now I was up looking out a spacecraft and seeing half a continent. So it just is a natural progression. Nothing has really changed, only the scale at which we're seeing and working. So that was the part that was so amazing to me. Your world is you encounter.
So it was a different experience, right?
Oh yeah.
So beside all this science and fiction and all that stuff, if you put it on the side, what made you start writing finally? Like, you have this idea, like you should write it down, you should become an author.
Well, I've done writing most of my life, whether it was a graduate thesis or whether it was space flight itself and going into space. or whether it was just to understand new aspects of science, it's all one thing, just a gradual progression. So there was no moment in history that I decided I would write this book. I started out by writing smaller aspects of it in technical papers, and then the opportunities arose to write on a larger scale about larger things. And finally, one day, I said, "Well, I have a book in front of me. Why do I not just try to finish this book and make it so other people can have the same enjoyment that I've had?" So that's really what it is. It's not a singular event. It was a progression in a way of life. I did make a singular decision to try to put something down on paper, on computer, which was a much better detailed description of things which I now have more clearly understood. But it's not a singular event. It was a progression of events.
So, Mr. Edward, when was the time, what do you think about your book? I mean, there are a lot of space-related books out there. What makes your book so different from your book? Like, what type of information does it hold? Like, I already know some of it. Like, for example, it has political issues as well, and a lot of debates as well. So, what makes your book so different from other?
Well, the book is different in that I'm not writing about just a singular space mission, or a singular text about ionization in space, or I did wrote a book on solar physics at one point, which feel sure, but then of late I decided, well, why don't I just start writing about what space is all about to me? And before you know it, I went from something I started out as our early studies in space, we as humans, all the way out to where we want to be, larger studies out to other solar systems, out to other planets, and finally out beyond our solar system and out to exoplanets, which is those things that we can see, we have light in, we have visual observation of, but we've never been able to visit. And I should say that's one of the frustrating things. Now with the Webb Space Telescope, we can see way beyond what we've ever seen before. We look in ultraviolet light, and the infrared light. And since we had the explosion of the Big Bang, things which are farthest away from us, they're our farthest away. And eventually, if they're moving fast enough, then the wavelength from them has shifted into the infrared. So Hubble did not, but now with the James Webb Space Telescope, we're taking infrared light and understanding it and translating that into what it would look like in the visual. And so we are able to see much further out, way out, almost to the edge of the universe. So we take a big leap in what we can see. Now that handles the ever farther part of it. Ever faster, though, is something else. We can't travel anywhere near fast enough as we would like. Unlike Star Trek, we can't travel faster than the speed of light yet. And we can't get anywhere near. So I think we're going to be limited to observations of what is out there at the edge of our universe for quite some time to come.
Okay. So looking at the U.S. government right now, where the government stands and what kind of projects that they're doing right now, do you think there's any sort of accomplishment that they have done for the space, for the ever after part? Like, what do you suggest about it?
Well, we've been that way for ever since in Project Mercury. We employed the free enterprise system to get what the government wanted. Now we've jumped ahead. We find out that sometimes the free enterprise is ahead of the government, and so we're looking for the government to step up and supply some of the funding for it. But a lot of impetus or drive for it comes from the knowledge that we've gained from private enterprise and what we're learning. So, for example, and I bringing it up, the Webb Space Telescope, that is just light years ahead, almost light years ahead of where we've been before. No pun intended there. So it's that is really advanced us so quickly that I don't think we comprehend how big of an advancement it is.
So, other than that, do you think space exploration is more about survival or discovery? What is your take on that? Like, if the government or if any sort of country, any nation is trying to figure out what's if the space has life or not, is it about the survival or is it about the discovery?
Well, survival's got two aspects to it. One is what nature supplies to us. It might cause us to be concerned about our own survival, explosions or hard radiation, which would be injurious to our physical beings. That's not too. I don't rate that as a real major concern right now. But understanding what our universe is all about is a major driver. And of course, if some other country, whether it be Russia or other countries which are not too friendly on us, if they have gotten enough capabilities and decide to use it against us, that's one thing. But other than Russia, I don't see where we are in that situation at all. I think we're out there, we as humans are out there trying to understand what the world around us is all about. So that's what I talk about, we as humans, as opposed to a given country. I think we've worked with the Europeans on previous programs and intend to in the future, which is good. Matter of fact, what I regret though is a step backwards that we have taken. We worked with Russia when we had Apollo, which was a combined program between the United States and Russia. Now, that was all great. Now we were taking advance that cooperation further. But since then, Mr. Putin has different ideas. So we have not our work together as humans living on this one planet, but rather as humans living on different parts of the planet. And it's unfortunate that's the way it is, and I hope we'll one day return to cooperation between America and with our European and other partners, and working with Russia. But that remains to be seen. I hope so.
So, other than these questions, I want to ask you about this one. Do you think, if it's possible, like survival in the space, would you prefer a house on Mars or on Moon? Which one would you prefer?
Well, I think the biggest advances will come going to Mars. We've been to the Moon. Not that we know all about it, but we have been. We've not been to Mars as humans. We're not landed there. We have unmanned spacecraft to Mars, but we've not landed there. And I'd love to see us do that. That's coming downstream. I don't know when it'll happen in 10 years, 20 years, but it is something that's on the horizon.
Right. So, Mr. Edward, if someone reads your book, what do you hope they do next? Like, what sort of information they will gain next from your book? and what kind of person they will be?
Well, it depends upon what their interests are. What is their background? What do they plan to be? Are they in science, or are they in technology, or whatever? But whatever it is, I hope this book creates interest in space and greater awareness. We're sitting here on this one little tiny mud ball we call Earth, and so that's great. But let's look at the bigger picture. Just our solar system has got so many different locations, and now we're talking about exoplanets, planets outside of our solar system, and that's where I pretty much terminated in the book. Even though I know eventually someday we'll be going beyond that. So it's people who are interested in studying something of that nature. I hope it motivates them, especially in our youth, to do something of that nature. It really is a way to give either some detailed information or just create an interest in what is around us. We've been sitting on this planet for a long time. Why don't we understand that we ought to be out there trying to understand a little bit better what's around us? It's as though we were living here, say, in the North America, never venturing across oceans to see what's on the other side of the oceans. Well, now we're trying to venture across our near universe to see what is out there. And I suspect that we're able to look back on this in another 200 to 300 years, if not more. We understand that just sitting here on this little on this little planet, parked as we are, not really outside, was a real mistake. There's so much more to and do out there. It shouldn't occupy, obviously, our major efforts. We got to take care of all of the problems we have here on Earth, but we should do much more to studying what is out around us, and that understanding, I think, will eventually be of benefit to us here on Earth.
So, Mr. Edward, what's one space breakthrough you think is coming soon? Like, some people have explored space, like you have already mentioned before. What's that one thing that you think is coming soon that's going to change everything for us humans on Earth and for the life in the space? What do you think that's one breakthrough that you see?
Well, I think the real advancements are coming right now is in what we can see there. As I mentioned, with the Webb Space Telescope, we can see well beyond exoplanets. We can see well beyond the next stellar systems. However, we can't travel there. So I think the real advance is going to be seeing out there, understanding it. New things are happening every day with this new telescope. And so we're going to get something that's so shocking that we have to actually try to make some sort of a effort to go there, whether we go there unmanned, which I think obviously is the way to do it. Like we've eventually gone to Mars and unmanned, but eventually now we're going to have humans go there themselves. Well, I think that's going to happen to exoplanets out beyond our solar system, and we're go land on exoplanets. We're also going to be looking further out and understanding new things. Mm-hmm. It's just now to understand the world around us, and the world around us now is increasing in size all the time. And I will point out that one of the biggest things that has happened to astronomy in a long time is our James Webb Space Telescope, because we're looking in the infrared light as opposed to the visual light.
So, last but not least, Mr. Edward, as we're coming to the end of the podcast, and what kind of message do you want to leave for the future generations?
Well, let's see. I mean, there's two things. One is I want people to get interested in what is out there, but more important, I have students at the very end. And one thing I have learned in my life after I failed first grade and fourth grade is that whatever you want to do, do it now, because you will eventually be able to do it if you try. So don't sell yourself short. In other words, don't sell your capabilities. You can do tomorrow what you're limited to today. Your capabilities of doing things tomorrow can be much greater. And the important thing is to understand, not limited, and what you can possibly do. And above all, don't ever give up. That's one thing I've learned in life. Never give up. No matter how many times you fail, never give up. If you want something enough, just the joy of going after it is well worth it. But your ability to do the things that are available today, especially in the freedom worlds that we live in, and certainly here in the United States, we're so blessed that we have opportunities. Is that all there? The capabilities to do things are all there, and the ability of people to step up alongside you and help you is all there. So there's hardly any limit to what we can try to do. What we generally accomplish will be proportional to how much we want to do it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edward, for being on the show.
Thank you for your kind interview.
Thank you. Bye, Mr. Edward.
Goodbye.